Now stay tuned for NJ Today. From our satellite bureaus, our partners in newsrooms and on college campuses across the state, and from the production studios of Montclair State University, this is NJ Today with Mike Schneider.
Princeton Borough and Princeton Township are venturing into relatively uncharted waters. The two municipalities are merging. Few New Jersey towns have done it, but Mayor Chad Goerner is determined to see it through. He joins me now to talk about the merger. Mayor, thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, tell us about the status of this merger.
We stand poised to have a consolidated municipality on January 1st, so we're very excited about it. We have a good foundation in place, and we've gone through our transition year this year, and we're poised to meet the savings estimates and actually exceed them.
Let's talk about those savings estimates.
Yeah, sure.
What are the estimates?
Well, when the Consolidation Commission studied consolidation, they basically set forth a 3-year implementation. In the first year, we would save approximately 1.3 to 1.5 million. And going out 3 years, we would save approximately 3.2 million. Those are annual savings numbers. At the end of the Finance Subcommittee of our Transition Task Force's work, they now project that we will exceed next year's savings estimate by 40%. And at the end of the 3-year implementation, we'll actually be saving about $4 million a year if all of the recommendations that the Consolidation Commission put forth are kept by the new governing body.
Give me examples where the savings would be found. Are you talking layoffs? What are the
Yeah, this is
areas?
actually the savings numbers that I talk about are actually savings numbers from a reduction in staff. And that's one of the things that is an advantage with consolidation, is it allows you to do more with less. A lot of what municipalities are doing today are very duplicative in nature. Many municipalities have a police force, they have administrations, they have engineering, etc. What we did is we said, okay, well, what if we put our two police forces together? If we did that, obviously we have some overlapping and duplicative positions, so we can do more with less. And in doing so, on the police force alone, we will save about $2.1 million at full implementation.
Wow. Now, tell me about moving forward, implementing this. Is it going to be difficult? Are there any stumbling blocks left?
Well, I think a lot of the heavy lifting has actually been done because we've gone through this study. The voters voted on it last year and approved it, and this year we put together a transition task force that consisted of a lot of different experts from different backgrounds, and we focused on the things that we needed to do organizationally, physically to move staff from one municipal building to the other, organizational charts for the various different departments, and even minutia type things like our ordinance consolidation and what fees are we going to charge for dog licenses and things like that. So there was a heavy administrative workload there, but everything is really in place, and we're excited about moving forward on January 1.
Now, it seems like one critical test for this merger was a storm.
Yes.
Tell me how you fared during Superstorm Sandy.
Yeah, well, I saw the beginning of your segment, and it's certainly true. I mean, Superstorm Sandy hit the whole state, and obviously, the shore areas, it's just been a tragedy. But in Princeton, we had residents without power for 2 weeks, and we also had a tremendous amount of storm damage, and from trees and things like that. What we ended up doing this time around is, since we were moving forward and consolidating into one municipality, we formed an emergency operations center that existed to house our 2 administrators, our 2 police forces. We had a seat at the table for Princeton University and the school district. And by having one single emergency operations center, we got our roads freed up more quickly. The university was able to interact with us more directly and solve a lot of the problems that arose. We had many of our polling places without power, so we had to come up with an emergency plan for our polling places so that it was still easy for people to understand where they needed to go to vote. And the university stepped up and let us use their Jadwin gymnasium for many of our election districts. And they also allowed us to have a facility to use to provide some type of respite for residents that didn't have power, because after 5 days without power, I had a significant beard myself, and it was time for me to get a little bit of relaxation and respite at one of our centers.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, a few towns have managed to accomplish this. There's been study after study. I know Scotch Plains and Fanwood have been looking into this issue, other communities. Do you think they're all looking to you as a model?
Well, I think, one of the things that we really wanted to do is make sure that the process that we went through is well documented, and any type of stumbling blocks that we approached along the way, one of the things that I think we need to do moving forward is that we need to, as a state, promote consolidation and shared services organically from the municipal elected officials on up. But the state needs to be there to water it, to provide sunlight and fertilizer to the process, and that hasn't really happened completely. And I think what we need to do is not only track and use what we've done as a template, but continue to push for more flexible reforms in the law so that we can go ahead and see more consolidations take place. Because certainly with 566, soon to be 565 municipalities, there's a lot more room for us to grow.
It's likely everyone will be watching you closely.
Yes, I think so. And I think we've done a very good job collectively with both governing bodies, our task force and our consolidation commission, and we have a lot to be happy about when we celebrate our consolidation on January 1.
Well, thank you for sharing your insight. We understand you're stepping down, but you'll be keeping close tabs, yes?
Yes, stepping down after 6.5 years, but we have a good foundation in place.
Mayor, thank you so much for joining us.
And thanks for having me.